Okay, and here we are. It's a battle of the bots on LeelaChess here. Oh my goodness, they need to... Whoa, 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 whoa. Are we gonna get out of book here? Give me a second. Okay, slow down here. Wow, they really got out to an aggressive start. Long-awaited match. Whew. Well, it starts pretty quiet. Maybe we have a chance of making some sense of the play. Okay, so here we are, a small group of 6 5-2 time control games. This is not a rating we can trust. 1500. Have an idea. I think it's a little higher rated, so hunting. Ooh, Leela is hunting for a bishop. This knight could end up getting stranded if there was a capture. Still might have it. Takes with the pawn. The knight doesn't have a great square to get to. Alright, so opening up a little bit. Have to take with the pawn on E, yeah. Ah, notice this capture is pulling the pawn away from F5, so if there was a pawn captures here, at least there's a new square for the knight. So the main imbalance is bishop versus knight here. Something simple. Love this black knight. Fits in like a glove on that D6 square. Good jumping points. Watches over base point. Fights for F5. Imagine this knight will find a good post on F6. Maybe A5 at some point. Flight square H3. Okay, at least they have slowed down there. I guess we can expect the moves to be rattled off pretty fast like that in each of the games. But wow. wasn't really prepared for that. Oh, might we have a major piece specific game? How would this look? You know, major piece. Don't take it now because there's still a pin. So maybe a queen move and then get ready for the old minority attack. Where to go to here? Observe the flight square. Again, one of these two. Clear the way for the B pawn to move. This, that. Ooh, well, that's different. Going for a central expansion. Okay. Yeah, some prep work here. E4 nearby. Yeah, there's still a pin to sort out. This is awesome. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to expect here. I'm looking for a good fight. So, I mean, as a human, I want to move that rook so the knight could move. There we go. Now, is there time to get an E4? There's time to get an E4, so let's see how Stockfish 10 reacts to that. Okay, ideal pawn center. A knight is maneuvering, and the desired... Wow, the pawn on E5. Especially in closed positions, this pawn on E5 is super strong. But it remains very opened here. A little bit more space here for white, to be sure. The bishop is offsetting the knight. I imagine you want to get this in at some point. This is not a threat because you could take with the pawn and the queen is defending. Black seems like has a clear plan to pile up on the d pawn. Ahead on the clock, Leela. Queen takes h6. These little tactics will never be missed by either side. Of course. And yeah, center's getting broken down. This knight's a strong piece. Is this pawn seen as a liability or an asset? What's the hesitation, Leela? Let's go. King here, queen there. Okay. Knight takes c5, queen takes c5, queens remain on board. To go rook here, no? Otherwise you're going to drop this pawn? Oh, counterattack against this guy. Yeah, queen exchange, and in the end if there's a rook here, the rook can block. Still, it's a bishop versus knight situation. And the knight is given a boot. There's a square for a rook. King will be improved once on f6. The rook may be out of play if it's on f6. I think the king is a really convenient defender there. Watching over this one sensitive point. Maybe this is still a focal point. The bishop and the rook. Sneak in this move. You know, the problem here that I see with h3, in a way, is that this pawn could be very cramping to the structure. I don't know how you make forward progress. Take a pawn, lose the game. Yeah, this is uncomfortable for white, I think, the king position. Even on the clock, 2:43 each. Is now the time to go pawn grabbing? I don't think so. Here. I think you want to keep pressure on f7. Everything is pointing at f7. Okay. Some control of the dark squares. Probably could make a draw in many ways. If you could just get to a rook-specific ending. Feels like this pawn would fall if you have a queen exchange. Okay, we're going to have the pawn recapturing. And I guess then the rook transferring like this, trying to put pressure on the 7th. Yeah, so, What a game. This is such a cool game. This chess stuff is such a cool thing to watch. So activity. Yeah. Rook d7. We're going to have a lot of exchanges soon. I don't think there are any fancy mating nets. Don't go king here. The old pin. So how are we defending this pawn right here? What am I missing? Okay. So king activity. No, we're going to have an exchange here. Here, takes. Here, knight takes pawn, bishop takes pawn. White is the better side there. Superior minor piece. Still both sides of the board relevant. Pawns on both wings. Bishop will thrive. Yeah, we're going to have this. Wow, this is looking very good for Leela, I feel. Balanced. Material-wise. Oh, you're getting a pawn like that. Yeah, that's an important detail I overlooked. How fast can this king run? Is he gonna bolt over here? The bishop can sacrifice itself for one of the pawns. Or can it? Is there some fancy way to advance these pawns and have the bishop not be able to sacrifice itself for one of them? The king's gonna stick around here. I missed that little detail. Grabbing on h2. Feels like you could hold this though, right? Here offsets the knight. Alright, there's only 3 squares the knight has from this post. The thing is that the king always has to keep pressure on this point. Oh. You only need to control this square because these two are under control by the king. If the king steps up like this pawn runs. Takes here, and then there's no stopping him. Interesting ending. Game 1, if you're just joining. Okay, so maybe now hinting at this idea of tracking the pawns down. That is stopped. Trying to get up as far as possible, so stopped cold. To take or not? I think you take. I think white is, being down a pawn. Best white can hope for here is a draw. And you want to trade as many pawns as possible, I think. Under a minute for Leela. Staying far away from any knight forks, that's for sure. Is now the time to do this? I wonder what the downside is with that. Okay, we're going to find out now. Seems like you could have done that one move sooner. Yeah, this seems like it would be a draw. How are you guys seeing it here in the chat on Twitch? I love that the king is not taking this because why exactly? I don't know. I guess I don't see how you make progress here. Material is balanced. The bishop will always be around to watch over one of these two. This is a pretty neat first game. No, I think we might end up seeing some lengthy games here between these two. The king always keeps pressure on this pawn. And has a couple squares to do that. Keep pressure on the pawn by way of h4 or h3. Bishop always watches over the a pawn. And just stay put. It's getting a little scary. Hopefully we don't have any time issues. Some loss on time. That has happened. Okay. I'm not sure what more to add with this one. I think we might be looking at some 50 move rule. They're gonna do something different. 50 move rule. Where was the last capture? Move 60. We might have to get to move 100. Oops. 110. Ten seconds. Living off of the increment. Oh, there's a lot of you here. 255 spectators. Here's the thing, just you keep these two far away. And there's never any concern of a fork. Bishop sticking around these four squares. Careful, Leela. 4.5. Okay, we know where this one's going. I think the first one is going to be a draw. Boy, at this rate, we might just barely get to see 6 games before that titled arena. Man, let's go. Pick up the pace here. Get to the... Oh, there we go. A draw on board. What was that? Repetition of position? Who knows? Who would know that? Okay, I'm still following. Let me just make sure. There we go. Okay, we're right here. Game 1 of 6 in the books. So that one took, what, 15 minutes on the nose. We'll be all right if they last 15 minutes. Oh, what am I doing? Let me flip the board. This is where I want to be. Okay, Leela, slow down. Whoa, okay, what opening is this? This is the Marshall Gambit. All right, have you missed that? We got to go a little bit slower here in the beginning. This was the opening. Roy Lopez. And with b5, castles, and c3 is met with d5. Gambit play. Ooh, Stockfish 10 does not want it. Interesting. All right, bishop g4, h3, bishop back, and this is where we stand in game 2 of 6. We're going to see 6 games. It's not, you know, just, oh, best of 6. We're going to watch 6 games, win, lose, draw. Regardless of the result, wow, what a... Is this already an original position? I feel that it is. I think most games go right down this path. Wow! G4. Super committal. Okay. Very interesting now, because there are some long-term weaknesses here for Team Stockfish 10. But white has a pawn in the pocket. An underdeveloped queenside long-term sacrifice. Ooh, now there is an additional thing going on. Multiple imbalances, a lot to speak of. Bishop pair. Ooh, what is going on? This is fantastic. Okay. Space, bishop pair. Development lead for black. Some weaknesses in white's camp. Underdevelopment for white. This position's getting ripped open. Another pawn sacrifice? Wow, this is wicked play. This is really something right here. Wow. These first 20 moves are, I just feel that they are amazing. Okay. Anyhow, you can't, and it's difficult to defend, isn't it? Or develop, I mean. Oh, there's a check. Okay, if knight here, isn't there a check? And maybe something falls. Maybe there would be queen here, though. Anyhow, the pawn is getting picked back up. The safety of the king is what concerns me most. These guys are split. These guys are not. Still the bishop pair. Another pawn is scooped up by Team White. Where are we at? Well, first of all, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm having trouble counting. White is up 2 pawns. Okay, white is now... What kind of imbalance is this? 2 minor pieces versus the rook. Yeah, that's what we're going to have. Okay, so it has calmed down. The king safety is not an issue now, I don't believe. This rook is super annoying, I would think. Combined with this rook, how do you get the pieces activated? So the bishop will have 2 wonderful outposts to interfere with the rook trying to get active. All right, you could clog up the rook. You could try and throw a punch and then swing over like that. Okay, wow, this is the first 28 moves have flown right by. Okay, so first testing the waters with rook c8. I like that decision first because guess where the knight would like to go? So you're trying to get to the second rank and you're also interfering with a desirable move. And white does, well, develops. I don't know how great the knight is from there. What about that? Isn't this... How does the king get activated? How do you ever kick this rook off of this square? This is the only serious threat that black has. Where are we at here? This is a full exchange. No, it's not a full exchange. It's still 2 minor pieces versus the rook. What am I talking about? Yeah, rook to c3. Now, The rook is hungry. And the king, given some time, can help assist in some mating net. Meanwhile, the rook is ideally placed behind the pawn. Could ask that knight a question. Maybe pick off a pawn. Yeah, this pawn is fast. These two connected pass pawns, right? As soon as this pawn falls, this is beautiful chess. This is I think it was titled that, right, in the blog post to this mini match. This is the real World Chess Championship. Okay, there is a perpetual check if black wants it. So this is how you know black is better. The rook can go to all four of these squares continually, and that'll be a draw. So, moment of truth for Leela. Does Leela feel that Leela is better? Or will Leela go for more? Oh, yeah. Is it a draw or is there something more? Does not want the pawn. I think that Leela's ready to say, you know what? I'm going to pick up the pawn, but in a more convenient way. Let me sneak on up here. The draw is still available if black wants it, but black is going for more. Okay. So now we insert some checks. You can check and then go here. Threaten mate, threaten the pawn. Yeah, decision time. Choose one. Wow. The draw is still there if black wants it. What an amazing opening that one, or this one was. Gotta say. Impressed. So, oh, okay, the check is inserted. If the king stepped over, maybe black could step up and blockade. And kind of negate the bishop. So, oh, okay. Black is saying, I'm going to keep the king here as the blockader. Okay, challenging the bishop first. Huh. Oh, there is this move, and then the pawn is going to get hunted. Wow. It feels like one of these two pawns are going to fall soon. Certainly this one is gone. What do we do here? Black is still in this pickle. Little pin. There goes another pawn. There's no fancy knight discovery because that's illegal. So another pawn is gone, and yeah. Up material now. A hair. Team black. Two pawns and the rook versus the two minors. Pawns on opposite wings. Both sides of the board still in play. Wow, I have no idea how this one's going to turn out. Probably a draw. Probably a draw somehow, but I think little by little, eventually, one of these pieces, they're going to have to sacrifice itself for a pawn. There is this move. Yeah, that's a check. Funny move. Is pawn ready to roll? This one could maybe get picked off at some stage. Not right now. Look at the pins. You're gonna have two passed rook pawns? That would be something. Here? Is that not going to win this pawn? Have these two exchanged? Two passed rook pawns? I don't think I've ever seen an ending quite like that. We might be having this. I think that's the path we're going down. The rook has a defensive role. Yeah, so it appears that we're going to have two passed rook pawns. What a cool ending. A rook and two passed rook pawns versus two minors. Wow. All right. Find a safe square, rook. Where's that going to be? The rook here. Keep the king cut off. Ooh. Yes. Under 2 minutes for both sides. Move 49. Just joining us. This is game 2 of 6. Wow. Okay. Call it even on the clock. I have no idea if there's a big downside with taking this pawn. Feel like this is nearby. I mean, if this pawn is picked up and this duo lives, I feel that black would go on to win. So, sure enough, we do have that exchange now. Okay, probably step on over, throw a punch. Or not. Gonna try and assist with this pawn over here. See, this is, again, I have never seen an ending quite like this. 2 passed rook pawns. And a rook versus 2 minors. Not a happy piece. Fiend Kettled Knight. So let's just assume eventually we're going to have a... I think it's going to be the case. One of these minors are going to have to sacrifice itself for one of these pawns. So what we're going to have eventually, and I don't know what minor piece that would be. I think it's still going to be a big problem, because then it's a rook and a pawn versus a minor piece. Unless we enter some table-based drawn position. This is one of these endings where it's just too difficult to really add any meaningful commentary. I slowly try to advance those pawns. Okay. So note the second case here. Both minors once more pinned. 30-second mark for Leela. Move 62. We could be in for a long one here. If the rook backs up, can this king start to get aggressive? Are there ideas of a mating net? Pieces are controlling a lot of squares near the black king. Wow. Is now the time to get moving? When is there going to be a pawn advance? Right now? Right now? First a check. Let's see where the king goes. Oh, he's on the edge. He's cut off. And now the black king's getting aggressive. Oh, we're going to have some perpetual. Here, here, and then block. Oh no, just a zigzag. Eventually he's going to come over this way. Wow. Okay. Mate threats at some stage. This king is cut off. How do you get advancing this pawn, though? The knight is a big bug. I feel like the king would want to be over here somehow. Okay, he's rolling with the A pawn. 10 seconds. Does have the increment. Okay. Staying central, Stockfish 10. To be sure. Living off of the increment. Whatever you do, don't lose on time. Ooh. Taking away some squares from the king. I think a human by now would have made several blunders. Some knight fork would have landed long ago. Okay, now the knight is far away. Run. Oh, he's running. How do I know it's a he? Oh, this pawn falls. Oh, okay. So what's the story with this? Because now if the minor piece ends up sacrificing itself for this pawn, then I think that's a table-based draw, isn't it? Yeah, white's in a spot, ready to sack. It's 5 seconds, living off of the increment. Get running. Okay, ideally placed, ready to roll a saccaroni. Maybe this and then that. Find a safe square, king. I think this one's going to be a draw now. Oh, you take me. Hang on. Yeah, this is looking like we're going to have a draw. Yeah. Another draw. We're about 16 minutes into this one. What an ending. What a beginning. What a beginning to this game. How many pieces do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We know what the result should be to this. I mean, this is a 7 piece. 7 pieces remaining. Can have a repetition now. Hopefully repetition. This one isn't going anywhere. No great progress to be made. The king could never approach this pawn to defend it. The rook is tied down to defending. There's an attempt to try and win the knight, but Stockfish isn't going to allow that. Of course. So it just bounces back and forth. And even if it was the case that, you know, a rook versus knight or a rook versus bishop is a drawn ending. Are we going to have to go 50 moves? This is game 2 of 6. What a start. 2 draws. No repetition in this one, unfortunately. What I want to see is this pawn be captured soon. Just so there's no more progress to be made. Well, he could still have a minor piece being captured. He's making a run for it. Some more progress. We have to go another 50 moves. Time. Come on, just carry on with it. Check here. The bishop is always there defending the knight. Okay, it's in the books. Another draw on board. All right, let me watch the games. We're ready for game number 3. So far, 2 games, 2 draws. Ready for number 3. Let's do it. I am following. Careless in the chat says a little time. Gotta make some changes. Okay, Careless25 is the one the one in the chat. Careless25 is the one behind LeelaChess. So maybe making some adjustment or just needs a minute. And we'll get to game number 3 soon enough. Well, what a really interesting beginning, huh? Right? Ruy Lopez. And this move right here, d5, denotes the martial attack. Oh, okay, well that didn't take long. Okay, we got game number 3. Yeah, that one's definitely one to look back on. What a beginning. Okay, and are we done moving fast at the start? Okay, let's go back real quick. This is how it began. And yeah, that's an early queen move. You really know where that queen belongs? At such an early stage, huh? Maybe did not want to commit the bishop too soon. Okay. In the event of a take, a recapture in one swing. Okay, the queen has an influence on the center. Is this a concern? Maybe, maybe not. One minor piece exchange, hanging pawn structure nearby. Seems like it. No. A pin. Pressure is maintained. This is a blunder. Okay, no pin anymore on the D file. This pressure is difficult to mount against the B pawn because of the bishop. So, yeah, okay, interesting. Not too quick to give up this pawn on C4. Not welcome to a hanging pawn structure just yet. Yeah, it's an instructive move. I think you could see many players diving right into capture, light square bishops off. Huh. You know, here's another thing. For as long as this pawn on C4 can be maintained, I think the queen feels a little bit more secure on C2. So taking here, at some stage, this file can open up and the queen experiences some difficulties. So I think maintaining this tension, in short, helps secure the queen. Meanwhile, we finally have our first minor piece exchange. Both sides could end up with isolated C-pawns at some point. It's a strong piece pointing at the heart. Knight on A4, challenging the queen. And preparing to back the bishop out. Was that the idea? Throw a punch at the queen and now address this threat with bishop to B2? Where do you want to go with the bishop? I think staying on this diagonal pointing at G7 is nice. It seems like it would seem like you have to offset that piece soon. No. Sticking around to maybe safeguard the king. Put the bishops on adjacent diagonals? Maybe. All right. This stuff, the queen is there to defend the knight. Standoff here between the bishops. Light square bishops exchange soon? It seems like it. Yes. Rook on the B file. These knights are offset. Both fighting for these squares. Possible reposition of this guy. There is the B5 square. Could be taken away with A6. Queen C6 is the first move that comes to mind. A light square. The knight is a long ways away from attacking the queen. No bishop attack. Black still needs a flight square. Black may get a little bit aggressive with the H-pawn instead of H6, H5. Clamping down in this structure like we saw in game 1, although white didn't have G2, H3 just yet. But if there isn't a way to take advantage of the G5 square, maybe you go in for that. Okay. C4 is under fire. Slight imbalance with the knight positions. Maybe time to improve this bishop or sneak in this. No, one rook exchange first. Minute off the clock for Leela. Okay. Stockfish 10 Chess has gained some rating. Started at 1500. And here we go. Some aggression there. With the H-pawn. Maybe white looks to advance the A-pawn. This is where there could be some imbalance. Yeah, we have A4. A5 nearby. To keep the rooks on or not? Yeah, demote the rook. Or do you maybe keep this pawn around? And I think ideally if you get this pawn up to a6 and then knight to b5. And, you know, try and hunt that pawn. Okay, not maintaining the rook. So just pressing with a5 straight away. So now that, yeah, this is an idea. Certainly. 2 connected passed pawns would be wonderful. So now, these pawns are vulnerable to this bishop. Uh-huh. Was this the idea by pulling the bishop back and keeping it on this diagonal? Race the pawn up to a6 and now you're just 2 moves out from hunting? Maybe. This knight needs to do something though. Find a better square. D1 is not safe. I wouldn't be surprised to see g5 at some point. You're trying to kick this bishop off the diagonal. So, oh no. The knight does not move. Pressure here. Is that a move? Okay, now there's back rank issues for white. So now this knight could move. Okay, hang on. We got a checkmate threat. How do you defend that? How do you defend that? Oh, you could go here. King in the corner. No. What? Whoa, he's going to drop the knight in order to get this passed pawn. Wow! What a sequence that is. Okay, who's going to be around to stop this pawn? I think black has to go for perpetual. This knight is not going to pose any serious danger to the white king anytime soon, nor is the bishop. Queen here, push. Oh, wait a second though. Oh. Queen here, I think black has to try this and then some kind of perpetual on these squares because this diagonal is covered. Oh, okay, this is the idea. So a6 and then knight to b6, preparing to sacrifice. But still, in that ending, look at who's better. Team white. Better bishop. Even though right now it's biting on a rock, there's targets one day. You know, these things can change. The bishop can emerge. Start hunting. G5. G5, not pushing the pawn just yet. Wow, maybe. Oh, okay. G5 creating an avenue to start targeting this H pawn. Look at all these pawns are on dark squares. You don't have. You could do it in a couple ways. You could take. Yeah, you could either push or take the knight. Prefers to have the queen on A8. Well, either way, the queen would end up on A8. Now, white is definitely the better side. Winning? I don't know. I'd like to see the queens off and see if there's a way to make progress in the ending. I mean, yeah, these pawns can have some pressure on it by this bishop one day, but the bishop is a pretty good defender. Okay, offering a queen exchange. Aha! Black says, I'll show you. I'll fix one of your pawns on a dark square, see how you like it. Maybe your pawns will be a target to my bishop. The king hides. This one looks like a draw. Queen exchange. Yeah. Each side has a pawn fixed on dark squares. Black has some space, actually. The queens stick around. We could be in for another lengthy game. Could be. Under 2 minutes for Leela. Yeah. How much longer are the queens going to stay on? I'm not sure what kind of life can be injected into this position. Bishop does a good job securing the king. No diagonal checks. The king is fine here. Tough to see how this bishop helps coordinate with the queen to get at the king. Yeah, some checks. Where to go with the queen? Or just improve the king. Improve the king. There isn't an improvement for the queen. This bishop hasn't moved from e7, has it? This bishop has stayed here. 54 moves into this game. I don't think it has budged. Its initial deployment to e7. That's it. Might have to go 50 moves. Or repetition. Two to 1 advantage for Stockfish. I'm looking forward to another game with Leela having black. That second game was something. The Marshall attack. Well, what to say? It's going to hang around here, the white king. This pawn is never going to fall. Exchange queens and then play another 50 moves. This one can go for a while. Queens off, we get another exchange. And a draw has been agreed. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, this one really wasn't going anywhere, was it? Okay. Game number 4. 3 games, 3 draws. These guys are playing like world champions. We have another game yet? Who's gonna break the, maybe it's gonna go into tie breaks. Okay. Oh, a French defense. Interesting. Oh, okay. No space allowed. No space allowed. Interesting. Okay, just real quick. Those first moves are blinding fast. This is where we stand. Stockfish is not online. He's left the game. He's back. Computer? Cheating? Okay, queens are a goner. I expect. Leela is okay with going uncastled. White says it's not worth it. Where to go with the bishop? Commit the queen? Are you okay with doubled F pawns if the queen leaves? I think things are okay for black with doubled F pawns. I don't expect any better square than b7 for the light square bishop. Adjacent diagonals, and so here we are. Okay with doubled F pawns. Also, worth noting, this kind of scenario, notice why it's this rook. In the event of a capture and a check, the king is ready to hide right here, and this will be his pocket. Meanwhile, there are a lot of aggressive pieces pointing at the white king. The diagonals. It's okay. There's no good discovery, apparently. So just doubling on up on the D file. This is very instructive play, gotta say. Yeah, just one key move, and now if it becomes an issue, you could back up with the queen. Possibilities for a sacrifice on this square. Maybe queen here preparing to do this. Right now there's enough support for it. Beautiful centralization by the white side, so maybe now prep work for this. Also securing e6. I'm thinking maybe you go for that. What kind of progress is there to be made? The king needs to stay put. No great progress here. Knight move, I don't see an improvement there. Here runs into this, most likely. No, no a6, but rather a5. Okay, so possibly clamping down on this structure. Interesting. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What's happening here? Giving up the b5 pawn, I'm not seeing for what reason exactly just yet. Whew. Okay, wow, that's way too deep. Not sure why b5 was played. Are we still... What's going on here? Right now, f7 is under fire. And knight takes bishop. f6. Okay. Wow. Okay, well, white is up a pawn. And I'm still not seeing where the compensation is. Huh. b5. Was that necessary? The white pieces look beautiful here. This one might go to Stockfish, yeah? Queen's backed up. Better queen. More secure king. A lot of things are tipping in white's favor. Is this knight going to end up stuck or something? b5. Okay. This is a strong knight. Okay, this is one thing that's tipping in Leela's favor. Just a better knight. Possibly take... Oh, okay, we have the bishop pair now. Wow. You could take this pawn, and now the material is restored. Is Leela now standing better? If you get two... Okay, queen here keeps this square... Oh, there's a perpetual check idea to save white, I believe, because now there's a mate threat. You have to go in for this. We're gonna have a perpetual check. Wow, that's... Or are we? No. Yeah, I think we are. You could grab one pawn, but that's basically it. Choose one, Leela. Or we're gonna have the queens off. Excuse me. You could... No. Queen here. You could take the knight because the queen is defended. Unless there's some way to pick up the bishop. Okay, so we could go in for this. And then, whoops, here, and then exchange queens. But this pawn will be hunted, right? Queens are in tension, so yeah, okay, queens are gone. This is looking like another... Well, white is the one who's going to try for something here. White ends up getting that pawn back with that knight and queen. You know, there are... One thing that tips in black's favor, excuse me, when trying to hold this to a draw... is the wrong colored bishop. You know, you eliminate these three. Okay. Bishops are strong. Where to go with the king? Could try and eliminate some pawns. Maintain the bishop. Right here seems like a nice square. Keeps the knight under control. The king is stuck. Now, is there a way for the king to kind of sneak on up here and weave some mate? It's difficult to escort this pawn. I guess we're going to have that. There goes the h-pawn, and here comes the king. Watch out for the mates. Or not. Some control over the knight first. 2 pawns ahead, Stockfish 10. In what is this? Game 4. And if you try to get too aggressive, there is this check, huh? Ah. These bishops are killers. Now the king is getting aggressive. These endings, something else. Another bishop pair. The bishop pair was short-lived in the first game where Leela had black in the Marshall gambit. I just don't foresee the king being allowed to get active. I think these bishops are going to be killers. Just forming a blockade one way or the other. Yeah, okay. So opposite color bishops, I think this we could safely say will be a draw. Yeah, there's no winning this. Hopefully this one is wrapped up soon. This is game 4. We're just going to be there in time for titled arena, I feel. Another draw in the books. And a draw is agreed. There's no progress to be made here. Watches over that, watches over this. Push, takes, and the bishop's always around to sacrifice itself for the remaining pawn. 4 games in, 4 draws. We're going to get a win here. Leela going against Stockfish 10. The latest and greatest Stockfish. Okay, Leela with white. Let's see how fast these moves come in. Game 5 underway. Just 2 more games. Okay, we've seen this same structure in game 1. And in that game 1, there was a central expansion. Okay, so that central expansion, by the way, came when this pawn was still on h2. If you go for a central expansion now, it's far too weakening. You could be sure black will find a way to capitalize on g3. So what I'm trying to add is that when h3 is in, the idea for a central expansion is probably not a wise choice. So to preserve the bishop or exchange, okay, we preserve the bishop. Black can insist, possibly with bishop to d6, preparing to recapture with the knight. Not quite. Some improvement for this guy. Maybe now in a position to do that, yes. Note, this is the exchange of good for bad bishop, but this bad bishop is very active. There's much more going on in this position. Okay, oh, I like seeing this change in the structure. I'm not saying it's better for white, but it just some new things to consider. New pawn break available quickly instead of the minority attack with b5. Black may be eyeing up a space invader pawn. Well, if this is in, even though I was pointing out that this is less likely, we probably will be seeing something like that if c4 is in. Structure changes quite a bit. There isn't a great way to capitalize on g3. I mean, you should probably go for that. White is prepared. Oh, we're going to have this. Interesting. So a change in the structure, majorities. Eventually, black will be gunning for b5, creating a passed pawn one day. This guy's poison. This guy's poison. That's so cool. Both of these pawns would be met with a capture in one way or the other. The queen is toast. However, this move deflects the rook. And now can black get greedy? Black is getting greedy. So another scenario where a pawn is given up. So now, what do we have going on? This f pawn is racing. Space? Kicking the rook? Black feels like they're a little bit uncoordinated. So maybe that's some of the compensation for being down a pawn. White being down a pawn. Black is a little bit uncoordinated. How aggressive are we going to get here? We're going to throw the G pawn into the mix. This is now a connected passed pawn. This is a strong knight. If F5, the bishop isn't seeing the world so clearly. The rook will need to stay around controlling F6, I imagine. This is, I really don't. I see some very interesting possibilities for white. This is very interesting. See how this one develops. The black queen is not connected with any other black piece just yet. Just out here on the queen side all by herself. And the white pieces drifting towards the king side. Black's still a bit underdeveloped. Possibly giving up a pawn. This seems like a possibility. Oh, we do have that. Takes here, that. Taking advantage of a pin. Hitting with the fork. I don't think that this is gonna, oh, we're gonna see. Both sides soon will have passed pawns. Bishop pair, yes. No, don't take the pawn. That guy's poison. This pawn could fall though. F7, mate and 2 threat. Don't do that. Nearby, F5, F6 is the way. Ooh. You have to counterpunch? This is creating some serious weaknesses. G6? This could collapse fast, right? G6. This pawn could fall. But then there's that. Hitting the queen, hitting the rook. Does black have to do that? This seems very dangerous. Very dangerous. This also seems very weakening. Oh, offering a rook exchange. Rooks are gone. Are we going to have F5? I think we're going to have F5. Oh my god. Knight takes F7. King takes, queen sweeps in. F5. The queen is way out here in left field. Oh, doesn't want it. I have no idea why. Okay. I guess it's going to lead to some serious problems. I'm not seeing the specific variation. Okay, hang on. The dark squares are weakened. Opposite color bishops. One way or the other, isn't it? Ooh, this is a cozy home for the king. There is no queen e7 or f6. The king has something to say about that. G5. Oh, okay. Bishop's under fire. F5 is nearby. Black can't budge with the bishop. Apparently this would be too strong and 3 pieces would be attacking the king soon. White doesn't want the bishop. White wants this with check. And it's important it is with check because the queen has a responsibility on f2. Wow. What an amazing game. The bishop, white doesn't want to take the bishop, wants to go here and then threaten this. Wants to cut off the rook, plant the bishop on this square, and maybe eye up this move. Meanwhile, these pawns are all passed. It's far too complicated. Far too complicated. Just sit and watch. Quit talking. Just observe these monsters in action. Checks are now nearby. Don't go here. Gonna get mated. Oh, can you save the rook? You crawl up into a ball and then set up this stuff? No, not quite. Here, there's rook takes and then queen probably goes hunting. Pac-Man mode. Okay. So the rook is safe for a move. Might we have this kind of sacrifice? It might be nearby. Or some attack against the rook. We do have a sack. So you probably take with this pawn. This one loses that and then this. How do you want to do it? There's some in-betweener. This pawn lives. Wow. Oh, this is beautiful chess. Really. This is something else. Oh, chess from another planet. Queen takes pawn, queen here, pawn push, there's no rook activity. Both of these pawns are passed. Look at this beautiful queen. Defense. Gonna get rolling? No, the bishop needs to go somewhere. Aha! Offering an exchange of queens, sensing danger. Technical phase now aboard. Who stands better here? What's the body count? 1, 2, 3, 4? A bishop and 2 pawns versus the rook. A passer. Where's the king want to go? Probably here, and then there. Rook wants to be here. This isn't a threat just yet because of skewers and stuff. Do you try and cement these pawns here? That's going to give up some squares. You want to be a little bit careful and maintain some control over light squares. King here. Yeah, there's rook here. Now maybe one of these pawns takes a step. Maybe this one to stop some activity. But no, it would fall very fast. This rook is pretty slick. 41 moves in. What an amazing game. This one, I think the rook ends up out of bounds. I think you try for this. Give the king a boot. I don't know. I mean, you get the b pawn. How valuable is that b pawn? I think this, the king activity is most important. Oh, interesting. Rook c2, huh? Trying to induce this and then go here, and the bishop is a little bit more restricted, having pawns on light squares. What's the reasoning? Who knows? Okay. Oh, the other I'm sorry, the other threat. I'm sorry, b5 would just take there. So black wants to maintain this pawn right here. Okay, so this pawn is a goner. The material is still, well, we still are working with the same imbalance. 2 minutes, 8 seconds. This one pawn restricts these two. How to get activated. Everything's going to be glued in. Pawn on b5. Everything is linked here. And the king will have the responsibility to watch over these pawns. Black could probably be a pest. I don't know if here, then this. So now the rook is going to get activated. So how is black going to hold this? Is there a way to really change the structure? Probably start with the check. Ask the king a question. No. No. So I guess the idea is now this, and to hunt these pawns. Interesting. I think white will be working around this pawn. So here takes. You have to do that. So here, this will be an interesting moment. Do you take here or here? Oh, I'm sorry. It's pretty clear. You take here and then here. Is this going to be a win? I think this is a win. You start with the check. This is important. Here, you end up in a fork. So a clear exchange for Leela. Is this bishop gonna... It seems far off from hunting these pawns. I guess the idea is if you ever try to flush the king back with this, the bishop will be in a spot to challenge the king. How do you control this square with the king and then get this move in to kick the king back? Because the king wants to get here. If the white king could get here, it'll be a win. But any check, the king steps up, and the bishop, I think, from here is always going to be around to stop king f5. Under a minute for Stockfish. So, yeah, I mean, you could give check, you could go here. If there's a hold here, it's just barely there for black. Have to go up. Bishop block, there's king here. The king has to move away from f6. Game over. King on f6 equals win. King here, bishop check on h7. Okay, so how to make progress? Is there anything fancy with that? This you just capture this. The change of the structure doesn't help white to get to f6. This is a slick piece, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do we know what the result will be with this one? Whew. I don't see how you make progress. Here's the reason why a white king on f6 is a win is because you get here, you are able to flush the king back to the 8th rank, and then maybe, I wonder if that's even a, I wonder if there's a way black could even hold that. Oh, clock. 6 seconds. Okay, so now going astray. There doesn't seem to be a way forward. Is this one a draw? It seems like it. I'm curious about, I just don't know if the king is on that square. It may still be a draw. Because the goal once you're on f6 is to somehow get here still, but I think black puts up a fight with that. Yeah, there's no reason to allow the king to get here. The one thing the white might have going for them is possibly some back rank mate threats somehow. I don't see Zugzwang factoring in this ending. Both are living off of the increment. Wow, what an ending, huh? Okay, a draw agreed. There isn't a way forward, and we're gonna have one more. 5 games, 5 draws. Let's see what this last one has in store for us in this mini match. Game 6 of 6 coming up, and we're making pretty good time. We still have about, what, 45 minutes until the titled arena begins. Let's just stay right here. We're going to get one more game in, and we are off with another French defense. Oh, oh, no, a little bit different. I love this. I love the variety here. So immediately, a structural imbalance and a minor piece imbalance. A3. Interesting. Queen to d6. So a6, well, prep work for queen to d6, huh? Bishop f6. This is the unopposed dark square bishop, and it is immediately on this main diagonal. b6. White is, I think, eyeing up a quick queenside castles, and then d5. What would happen if queen here? Does the king step up? No, I'm sorry. The knight could go here. That would be the harmonious way. Okay, so pawn break nearby. Maybe. Queenside castle? Or kingside castle? Do it. Yes. Cozier home over here. Opposites. Look at all the imbalances here. 15 moves in. Bishop pair. Structure. King position. Okay. There will be no h5, says Stockfish. Or no h4, excuse me. Not so quick to allow the H file to be peeled open. This also, well, there was already this move, but okay. No undermining with H4. This is a nice square for the knight. Maybe you go in for this kind of stuff. Focus on the E5 square. Nice centralization by white. This is a nice tidying in type of move. Is this something that black has to be concerned about? Okay, so weaseling around to G6. G6, knight G6, and then F4 is the idea. At any moment, the knight could be knocked out, and then knight takes pawn. Is this not an opportunity for that? No. White does not want to do that and give up this valuable bishop, so plays B5. Wow. Wow. Okay. This is a super invasive pawn, and this king side can be pried open soon. Okay. Bishop here, queen here? Nah, bishop here, there's knight here to challenge the bishop. Don't want to allow this bishop to be taken out by a knight. Oh my god. Knight takes H4. Wow. This is some, oh man, this is some awesome chess. Look, oh my god. What are we witnessing here? Oh, I need to just stop. Oh, you can't take this pawn? This is so beyond me. Oh my god. Oh man. Why? Why am I even here? I'm just like you, man. I am just here to watch some amazing chess. Look at this stuff. You don't take the pawn, first of all. You sacrifice here. You don't take a rook for a million moves. There's a fork on him. What are we witnessing here? This is ridiculous. Oh my god. And 17 moves later, you get the piece back. Your rook is hanging. Whose king stands better? I still have no clue. H4 might be there. This bishop is not a happy camper. If there isn't an attack against the king, what in the world is this bishop doing? Oh, another sack? Oh my goodness. I like white here. I don't know. I don't think. I think in the end, Leela got a little too fancy there. A lot of flash. But I think white is coming out on top in this one. Oh, now you think, Leela. Now you think. Okay. Some safety. How are you getting this pawn back? There's no attack here against the king. This knight is enormous. You really make this pawn feel the pain. Look at the queen. Queen positions, right? Black is coordinating on one square, but it is defended 3 times. I finally have some time to gather myself. If this is in, this structure, this bishop is cooked. It already feels cooked. Like you could do without this move. Okay, so some nice coordination. The knight is not going to budge so fast. Bishop is always there to help secure it. We're not done yet, folks. Let's just pitch another pawn. I want to make sure my rook can see the world. A passer. There's only 3 pieces that black is playing with versus 4. I don't know how much of an inconvenience this is for white to babysit this pawn. Meanwhile, there goes the h-pawn. Bishop pair. Where would you like this bishop to be? Because this is nearby. This is not looking very good for black. I think this one's going to the final game, game 6. I think this one's going. Are we going to see this break? Show you who's boss? Oh. Another break. Open up the H-file. Sneak around for checkmate. Yeah, this bishop is a sturdy defender. Yeah, this was no, there's no defending this. Leela's going down. Leela's going down. Yeah, this one's toast. Oh, this one's toast. What a game. What a game. Yeah, I don't see anything here. Probably that. And then checks. No, not that one. Yeah, you're not surviving this one. Wow, a lot of flash there with knight takes h4. And the end is near, unless there's a perpetual here. Is there a perpetual here? King here. There's no perpetual. Are you serious? Is there going to be a perpetual here? Stockfish has worked this out. There must be a... Yeah, there's going to be safety. Oh, hang on. Oh my god, really? Here, there's this. Okay, is this the way to... Is there going to be a draw here? This seemed like it was absolutely crushing. What's going on now? I missed those last two moves. Oh, there's a timely check and the rook falls. This really was never a threat. The pin and win of the queen. Ha! A sneaky pawn stab. A7. White is up a rook if you lost count. And the king will finally find safe ground on B1 at the end of the day. What a game. Right? Are we there yet? Or hang on. No, if there's a check, the king can't go there because there'd be mate. Okay, it's time for white to play. And there's not going to be anything here. A nice consolidating move. Bishop can't go too far. If this rook enters the scene, it's going to be big trouble. We might have that nearby. A check here. I guess there's going to be some mate if you try to pick up the rook, huh? Check here, and then white ends up doing something fancy for mate. Yeah. Yeah, so this is what it is here. There'd be a check. One way or the other. Yeah, this one's going to be mate in just a few, I would expect. Something like this? Is that how we're going to end it? We're going to have mate. What a cool ending to this. Well done. Awesome. That was awesome. Game 6. What an ending. That was one of the most exciting endings to a mini match. I don't know. That was such a cool ending. Wow. I want to just zip through that one real quick. Talk about some amazing chess. A knight weaseling around here. These pawns became too much, though, in the end. Knight takes h4, kicking off with move 21. And then... I'm just clueless from here. E5. And not to do this straight away, you're just doubling. Yeah, this was a killer. When you have to back up like that, that's a problem, isn't it? Don't know what the great downside is with capturing. I guess there starts to be some pressure here. Timely c6 move. Then e4. Just taking pawns, not taking rooks. Oh, there is this pin after all. Wow. Yeah, and by this point, the smoke has basically cleared. It's calmed down at least a little bit. But for about a dozen moves, wow. That was some amazing chess right there. And now, after white has consolidated, there's no attack, and these pawns are just absolute killers. A nice shot at the end there. Allowing a pin, but yeah. Check. Thanks for the rook. Consolidation. And in this position, queen takes rook would be met. Oh, yes, yes. I was thinking you could go here. Okay, this was the move that was played. But if queen takes rook, there's check. King here. Check. Checkmate. And from here, a nice little finish there. Right to mate. Very nice. That was really cool. So, what a way to end. 1 draw for Stockfish 10. The final game. 5 draws, 1 win. Awesome.